11.
Good evening, I'm Justin Case. Just one day after the Department of Justice charged dozens of medical professionals for their involvement in the illegal prescription and distribution of opioids, a historic grant was announced. $87 million is being awarded in grant money to the University of Kentucky's Center on Drug and Alcohol Research. The donation from the National Institutes of Health is the largest grant ever awarded to the university. As I learned today, the goal of this grant is to help reduce opioid overdose deaths in 16 counties in the Bluegrass. The goal of the $87 million grant is to help reduce opioid overdose deaths in 16 counties in Kentucky, including 2 in eastern Kentucky, Knox and Floyd counties.
Family trees with branches breaking off. That's what it looks like. And why we need to address this is because it is affecting generations of people. And we've got to get this crisis under control.
The areas that are a part of this project reported more than 700 overdose deaths related to opioids just 2 years ago.
When Oxycontin was big, we had a lot of overdose deaths. A lot of the Oxycontin had changed to where they'd make it a jail. A lot of people would shoot it up or snort it up. Well, they finally made it a jail where you couldn't do that. Finally, it's sort of obsolete. Now everybody's changed their drug to meth.
906. Young Edward Lincoln.
Sergeant Carl Frith has been in law enforcement for about 2 decades. He says many of the drug users who previously used opioids are now turning to meth.
95%. Every drug we deal with is most of the time meth. Yeah, we get very few pills. It's still there. They're still doing it, still selling prescription, but nothing like it used to be.
With that being said, he says opioids are still a problem here. With advancements in life-saving equipment like access to Narcan, he is seeing fewer overdose deaths.
I actually thought the guy was dead. His stomach was blue. He'd stopped breathing. I had a very, very low pulse on him. Gave him that through the nose. Within 1 minute, he was coming around talking to us.
The grant will improve and expand treatment, increase overdose training, and work to reduce the opioid supply. While optimistic, Sergeant Frith says this is a battle that is far from over.
Every day we fight it. Somewhere we fight it. We wish we could all just, snap our finger and it's gone, but it don't happen that way.
Working to fight substances that are tearing our families apart. There are currently more than 2 million Americans living with an addiction to opioids. Kentucky ranks 5th in the country in opioid overdose deaths. Following the opioid task force bust, we set out to find people who know just how easy it is to find a doctor willing to prescribe opioids to someone who does not need them. Carl Varney had been down that road. Now he works for Operation Unite and is a youth pastor. He is telling his story to help shed light on the accessibility of pills and doctors who break the law to get people their fix.
If you can get it that way, it not that it adds a legitimacy to it, but it does add a protection. As long as you had an MRI, as long as you had some x-rays that showed, a disc out of place, it didn't even have to be your MRI.
Varney says for most, it just takes asking for help to start the healing process. Pikeville Medical Center is helping fight the opioid epidemic with a new procedure. iovera is a non-opioid way to manage pain by treating peripheral nerves. Using a form of cryoablation, iovera freezes nerves to temporarily stop them from sending signals of pain to the brain. Orthopedic surgeon Kevin Pugh says the treatment will not take all of the pain away, but will decrease the narcotic dosage.
Even if it's 10 or 20%, and it could decrease the narcotics by 10 or 20%, that's a big deal for the patient.
PMC is one of the few hospitals in the state offering iovera. The treatment does cause some pain, but doctors will numb the area. The effects of iovera will last around 90 days.
And clouds and those rain chances are already start to increase out to our west ahead of a cold front that'll be moving in a little bit later this evening. You'll notice that here, satellite and radar, those clouds really out to our west, and there's those showers starting to move into parts of central Kentucky and really all of western Kentucky. You're seeing that rain falling even down into Tennessee, and that is on its way here to eastern Kentucky. You'll also notice where that cold front is already setting up, showing those lower 50s in Paducah into Owensboro, still 70 in Lexington, those upper 60s here in Hazard and into London. Some of us into those lower 70s into Jackson, Moorhead, and Richmond, even down into Harlan and into Middlesboro. So that cold front will move in a little bit later tonight, and that will bring us some soggy conditions as we head into your Friday. Those continue into your Saturday as well. Good news is sunshine does return just in time for Easter Sunday. I'll have that full forecast for you guys in a little bit. Justin.
Paige, thank you. President Trump has made a declaration of disaster for Kentucky. Road crews in more than 50 counties can expect federal assistance to help repair roads damaged by recent severe weather. Officials from District 12, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, estimate repair costs for their 7-county district sit at more than $11 million. This major break in the road along Kentucky 1103 in Letcher County is just one of several. Crews say extra money and helping hands from FEMA, it's greatly needed.
I don't know, our budget's stressed out. We don't have enough men actually, and we just try to do what we can do. And when FEMA steps in with contractors and stuff, we can get more done.
Crews say they expect to have a better idea of how much the damage will cost once examiners assess the area in the coming weeks. By the age of 18, you are able to vote, serve for your country, and buy a pack of cigarettes. Well, some of that could change. Kentucky's senior senator, Mitch McConnell, is pushing for a new law. It would make it so you have to be 21 before you can buy any tobacco products. Tony Florence owns a chain of vapor and tobacco stores across Kentucky. He does not think the senior senator's proposal would help much.
How can you expect them to stop using them? No one wants kids to use vaping products or cigarette products, but if you want to address this issue, it doesn't matter if it's T18 or T21 if you don't have better enforcement and better penalties.
But McConnell seems confident back in Washington they'll back the bill. The bill would include an exemption for men and women serving in the military. It will be introduced next month. His office says similar laws passed in 12 states. A beloved Hazard woman has died. Mary Daugherty was 100 years old. She was born the same day World War I ended. She was one of 11 siblings in the well-known Daugherty family. She and her husband Ed ran the clothing store Tots and Teens for many years. Last year, when she hit the century mark, we asked her what her secret was for a long life.
Work hard, serve the Lord, and love your family and friends. Well, I want to be remembered as a good Christian person, and I loved most all the people that I knew.
Maggard Funeral Home is handling the arrangements. Visitation will be from 2 to 4 on Monday at Maggard's Mountain View Chapel. The funeral will follow. Today, members of Allen Baptist Church in Floyd County took the message of Jesus to the streets, literally. In preparation for their Easter production this weekend, church members wore their costumes in downtown Prestonsburg to invite locals to come out to see the Easter story. They say a little extra effort in getting the gospel out to the world goes a long way.
The story of Jesus is one that a lot of people know, but when you're reading it in a Bible, you kind of get lost in really trying to conceptualize and visualize what actually took place. And so the theater, the arts, and that has always been around to portray things in a way that we live in a society is so visual.
The production opens tomorrow at 7 p.m. and will continue nightly through Sunday. Coming up at 11, a trio of climbers are missing after a massive avalanche in Canada. And the Mueller report is out, what it could mean for the president.
A cold front is working into the mountains, which will make for a soggy Friday. We'll break down that full forecast in just a few short minutes.